Here it is for you guys. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Thunder. It's a chilly, cold night here in Tampa Bay. So, of course, Lightning are playing in the desert tonight. In approximately 1 hour and 5 minutes, 9:09 local time here in Tampa. And we're going to be here till at least 9 p.m. because we got a lot of hockey to talk about. My friends call me Shooter. Hello. I have no cool sound effect except for this one. And that's Thomas Schooley next to me.
It's time to go to school, Jackson.
And we're going to fill your next hour with Tampa Bay Lightning chatter and some other NHL news as well. Where to begin? I was telling Thomas, if I look back to like Sunday, I was thinking, how are we going to fill an hour before this game? And a lot's happened in the last 48 hours in the hockey world, including some news and stuff with our own team here in Tampa Bay. I think the biggest thing this week was the return of the Big Cat, but there's plenty of other things to talk about as well. Do we want to just jump into the elephant in the room with the big news with Corey Perry today? Should we just
I was gonna ask if you've heard any good rumors lately, because today has been hockey Twitter day. Actually, it's been like the last 48 hours has been crazy because I think that rumor started about 48 hours ago. Until finally the Blackhawks came out today.
Yeah. So if for whatever reason you don't know what we're talking about, Corey Perry has had his contract terminated by the Chicago Blackhawks. This is
not yet. He will tomorrow. He was put on waivers. He has to clear waivers first. I mean, it'd be stupid for someone to pick him up off of waivers, but he has to clear waivers first, and then his contract will be terminated.
Traded this offseason from Tampa Bay to Chicago to be a father-like figure to Connor Bedard. And boy, oh boy, did that premonition come true. And I guess we'll start right off the gates. It seems like the main rumor revolving around Corey Perry was him having relations with Connor Bedard's mother during the mother's trip, which did swing down here through Tampa.
And did a tribute to Corey Perry when they were here in Tampa that Perry's mom was crying hysterically too. And they made a big thing because Corey Perry's mom was also on the trip.
Yeah. So anyway, that rumor seems to be 100% false. Yeah. Like, it started on X somewhere, and this
by one guy who I follow him. I followed him for I want to say the last 4 years, just because he does hockey Twitter. But I can tell you, any of the reputable people, I have all their notifications set to notify me all the time. He is not one of them. Every once in a while, he throws shit at the wall and it sticks. But very rarely does he get anything right. But only one person started this rumor, and it has went everywhere. And not only was he traded this offseason, he didn't even have any time left on his contract. It was just his rights.
That's right, yeah.
A few days before he became a free agent. So basically, we just stole a draft pick because of this. But yeah, he wasn't even going to be our player to begin with. So we traded his rights a couple of days earlier for him to sign that $4 million contract in Chicago. And then this happens. And if you went by the Twitter comment, he became a father figure, all right, or at least Connor's mom was calling him daddy or something. But yes, that has been allegedly. Now we watched someone called Mari. I got to watch the press conference live today from the Blackhawks GM. And did you get to watch it? Did you watch it?
I watched the replay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And shame on the Blackhawks for not coming out sooner and saying anything. That's what everybody has been saying. But then even when you read,
hold on, is this a big surprise to you coming from the Chicago Blackhawks?
That's true. But this was something that could really be playing with Connor Bedard's head, emotionally, mentally. 18-year-old, he from game one, he's been compared to Gretzky. We've seen the little counter number and everything else. I mean, this kid's going through a lot at 18 years old, and then this was the last thing he needed. But the GM did come out today and say it had nothing to do with any players' families, and the GM got pretty emotional while talking about this. And I think talking about the effects that it's had on other players and the players' families.
Well, I caught that it sounded like most players didn't really know actually what happened.
He said the players do not know.
Yeah. And the terminology that was used was unacceptable workplace conduct.
And they found out during the Columbus game and pulled him off the ice during that game when they found out. So
the big question is, I mean, here's the problem with not like coming out with what happened is you get these freaking crazy rumors, and hockey, I feel like more than any other sport, has all these stupid blogs that are out there that just make up stuff so people click on it. Like if you're on Facebook, like most of you guys are, you guys share them in Thunderbolts, some of these ridiculous stories. At least most of you guys catch that, hey, this is crazy, but it's just for clicks. So this just adds fuel to the fire. And some of the stuff that I've seen out there was, of course, Corey and Mrs. Bedard. He doesn't like Chicago deep dish pizza. He prefers thin crust. I don't know if he'd get his contract terminated over that. Maybe he served Bedard a beer. Bedard's, he's not 21 yet. Won't be for a couple of years. Substance abuse would be one that, could legitimately be what happened. Hazing is another one. Gambling has been brought up. Racial or sexual harassment. I think that might be. I think it might involve somebody within the organization in maybe one of those things. But
now the statement from his agent said he left the team to be with his family. So it made it seem like it was something family-like. The gambling thing, I think possibly. Drugs, you would have thought he would have entered the program. Instead, the NHL would have just said he's entering the program.
There you go. That's what Kyle just said.
Yeah. So, it could be the gambling. It could be, I've seen some people say fights with somebody else. Hazing could have been one of them. I thought you would have heard of that here in Tampa. If that was something that he was known for, I don't think you just go to Chicago and start that.
Sarah's asking, what do we really think could have happened? If I'm placing my money on one of these things, I'm saying sexual harassment in the workspace, because just the way that he phrased that, it seemed like it was just something out of bounds that happened.
Right, because he definitely brought up the past experiences with Chicago and said they were trying to get ahead of it because of the way they swept everything under the rug before. So I would imagine more is going to come out of this. But here's my question to you and to everybody that's watching. Is it any of our business?
I don't, not really, but
like literally, if you followed Thunderbolts all day, if you go on Blackhawks Twitter, literally they're like, well, tell us what it was. Well, tell us what it was. Well, what was it? Tell us what it is. And I'm like, it's nobody's business except for Corey Perry's, the team's, Corey Perry's family, and whoever else he did this thing to. I mean, I'm sure eventually it's going to come out somewhere, sometime, but I don't think it's.
This is what happens, though, when you don't come out and say what it was. Eventually, we're going to find out. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's next week. More likely, it's when Corey Perry writes his autobiography in 10 years. I don't know.
Or some kind of charges go against him or something. I mean, that's what I've been looking.
Don't the charges come first?
Usually. But if they got ahead of this, then it could be something that the police are investigating and Chicago did their own investigation. So,
well, I don't think we would be talking about this as much, maybe not at all. Maybe just a mention if he wasn't on the Lightning for the last, whatever it was, 3 years.
right.
So, yeah, a lot of Lightning fans still follow Corey Perry, and
he got a good reaction when he was back here for Chicago. And Stephanie put in there, do you think this is how we remembered versus his career? I don't think so, unless it comes out something real negative. I mean, you see another Blackhawk who, again, was in the news today, Patrick Kane, who signs the deal with Detroit today. You saw he was accused of rape many years ago and charges were dismissed. And he still has a lot of people still call him the rapist. And then the other people still say he was a good scorer and great part of the Chicago dynasty that they had for this couple of years. So it's going to really, if we end up finding out what Perry ended up happening, then if it was that serious, then yeah, I think he'll be remembered somewhat of that.
When did that happen with Kane? That was a while ago, wasn't it?
2015?
Yeah. I thought it was a little bit further away. Anyway, to answer Stephanie's question, I think it depends on like what actually happened. Like how despicable was this act that got him fired? He didn't get arrested. Maybe he will get arrested. You don't know yet.
Right.
I thought usually that happens first, but
like Kyle said, unless he settled quick, lady made an accusation. He gave her $3 million and said, all right, here.
Anyway, Corey Perry did something wrong. He did something bad.
But he's already been linked to new teams already.
Oh, I'm sure there's teams that would probably try to pick him up if, depending on what happens. And here's the thing, if they don't come out with whatever happens, then someone will sign him.
I'm sure they would have to share that with the NHL, and the NHL will have to share with any new team if there's any kind of maybe potential of any litigation coming down or anything like that. Because there's already speculation Toronto's looking at him, and a couple different things. I saw like 3 different teams that have been mentioned as a possible place if this isn't too serious.
Well, before all the Lightning fans start to speculate about a return to Tampa, we have 0 cap space because we got the big cat back and pretty much put us again right back against the cap.
Saying this, we've talked about this before. Vinik will not allow any kind of that to be associated with the Lightning. So there's zero chance of coming back here. Yeah, there's 0 chance he'll come back here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm right. Wow, how appropriate with that name. We have $2 in cap space. You can sign for $2 besides me. Basically 0. Thank you, though, for the correction. And yeah, you could maybe get Perry for $2 a year. I think there's a league minimum. Hey, before I forget, because we are doing the pregame show here, last week, nobody guessed the correct score. So I still have this $25 gift certificate to Cigar City here. So guess what? We're doing tonight's game. And I just put the link in the chat. You have to respond on Facebook this time since nobody got it on Twitter. I'm putting on Facebook, and it's got to be responding to that original post, not a shared post in Thunderbolts or any other groups. It's got to be on the original We the Thunder page post your prediction. So there's already a bunch on there. One smart person even predicted the Coyotes to win, playing the odds, since everyone that follows us is predicting the Lightning to win, and that didn't work last game. But we'll see what happens this game in the Arizona State Mullet Arena, which I really wanted to go to this game this year.
Scott's there.
Is he?
And if you guys are watching on TV, Scott Nightingale is there, and he's got glass seats. So you're almost.
Oh, we're gonna see him then.
I think he's wearing his Lightning onesie too.
All right,
So-
somebody's got to make sure we get a screenshot when they show him. That's the one thing Bally's does really well is they do like to highlight everyone that's there in Lightning gear on these away trips. And guess what? I will be at an away game next week in Nashville, so you might see me on Bally Sports. I got to check if that game's even on Bally's. Tonight's is on Bally's, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not on ESPN or anything like that. Good. I'm sure I would have heard if you are. So yeah, Coyotes tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about the game as we get closer to 9 o'clock. Let's go through it. So that's it with Perry. If anyone wants to put in comments their thoughts on Corey Perry and what you think happened there, go ahead. But there was some other stuff that happened that's going to be relevant to the Lightning around the league. Schooley already mentioned Patrick Kane signing with Detroit. If you didn't check out last week's show, we took the second half of the show and kind of went into the standings and talked about kind of how other teams are doing so far this season. And Detroit is kind of right there with us. They're kind of right there in the middle of the standings, kind of hanging on to one of those wild card spots. So is Patrick Kane going to be the missing piece that puts them over the edge and gets them back into the playoffs this season? Now, we'll preference that with Patrick Kane had hip surgery. That's why he's late to come back to this season. So he's not the Patrick Kane that was winning multiple Stanley Cups at the beginning of the 2010s with Chicago. But maybe he is that missing piece up there in Detroit to kind of put everything together for that team. Do you think this is really going to matter?
No, I think, and Michael Douglas had dinner when I posted it today in Thunderbolts. He said, great pickup 7 years ago. He didn't make a big splash for the Rangers. No. I think, again, it's another veteran on a younger team. But you can't also leave him alone. I mean, he does still have some threat for you.
And, does he bring that much leadership to a team? I do think that's important. Saw Andrew Chuck going into the Lightning Hall of Fame, announced earlier this month. Is Patrick Kane really a leader? I mean, he was for
Chicago. It was him and Taves for so many years there in Chicago.
Taves was way more of kind of the vocal leader on that team.
But Kane was the captain. So
Taves was.
Was it Taves?
Yeah.
Then Kane was the assistant. I still think he still brings a lot of that, like a Corey Perry, like a Maroon, Patrick Maroon. I still think he brings that in there.
Another team we talked about last week, by the way, you can go back, listen to second half of last week, was Minnesota. Fires their coach, and I think it was their GM too. So
their assistant.
Oh, assistant. So they fired the coaching staff. We talked about them being one of these teams that has not performed up to par. And I believe didn't they do something with Maroon? Didn't they put him on waivers or something?
No, that was another rumor on there.
These NHL freaking rumors are flying all over the place. Anyway, Minnesota is due to, it's probably good timing for them because they are a pretty talented team. I think they got slower with some of their additions this offseason, some guys that were on Lightning. But they should be a playoff team, and right now they are not a playoff team. So I think it was a good move for them to change their coaching staff now, because you do see every year that a new coach can come in and push that team over the hump, and you don't want to wait too long. So Minnesota, that won't really affect the Lightning.
The coach that they hired does not have a good history. He was Nashville's coach for the last couple of seasons, did not do good there. He's not really had any success in the NHL. So people in Minnesota are not happy that it seems like they just flipped a coin and traded a problem for another problem. Neither winner. Good side. Coach Bonus is back for Winnipeg. He's returned to the bench now for Winnipeg.
Yeah. What else happened? I thought I saw. Yeah, Elizabeth mentioned this.
The fights.
The Florida Panthers and the Ottawa Senators last night. 10 game misconducts. They basically just said everyone on the ice gets a game misconduct in this game. It didn't even really look that bad. I watched like a short clip and I was like, really?
That whole game though was leading up to that. It was supposed to be the Kachuk brothers against each other, and that's what they're leading up to. Grandma was in the stands, everything, and the whole game was pretty chippy. And then I think
so they were just trying to get control of it. I saw the clip where it was Brady Kachuk had a breakaway, and then he kind of clipped the goalie, and then fights broke out. Matthew Kachuk was already in the box. he was sitting there watching.
That happened right beforehand, and it was. If you look at the total penalty minutes for the whole game, it was crazy.
Now, what happens if Corey Perry gets around Kachuk's grandma? Do we keep those two separated? Again, rumors, people. The Corey Perry.
Listen, my favorite meme that went around had the back of Bedard's jersey, and it said Bedard / Perry on the like Perry was his dad now. So,
Connor Perry entering the NHL in 18 years as an elite hockey player, we're gonna raise an eyebrow back to this day. But yeah, 157 penalty minutes. So next time Ottawa and Florida play each other, you best be watching that game, because I don't think it's going to be a game that goes without a penalty. we'll say that. Anyway, let's talk about the Lightning, shall we? A lot of stuff going on in the NHL, but hey, we're here to talk about the Bolts, and we got a game in about 40 minutes. But the big news for the Lightning was Vasi returns. So Vasi comes back and has a huge game. It wasn't necessarily Vasi that had the huge game on Friday night. It was the offense scoring 8 goals, their best game of the season so far in Carolina, who's not too shabby. So the crazy part about this game was the record that they set. 15 shots in this game. One of those shots was in the first period. After that first period, it was like, what is happening in this game? But 15 shots and 8 goals, that is a NHL record for shooting percentage in a game. That was insane to be able to put up 8 goals on 15 shots. I don't think we're ever going to see that again. That might be a penalty or a record that lasts for a long time in the NHL.
And they dropped 14 shots.
15 shots? It was 8 goals on 15 shots.
14, the NHL.
Oh, 14, that's right. They took one away
the
after
NHL
the game.
Officially changed it to 14.
Yeah. So what a game. Point with the hat trick. Cooch tied for most points in a game for a Tampa Bay Lightning player with 6 points. And Michael Bunting still acts like a bitch, even though he's in Carolina and not Toronto anymore. So, yeah, great game. 8-2 at Carolina to start off this little road trip that they have. I went and watched with Sticks of Fire at Walk-Ons. So keep an eye out for those Sticks of Fire watch parties. Hey, don't forget we're having watch parties too coming up after the new year. But I had a good time hanging out with the Sticks of Fire crew. And obviously when the team puts up 8 goals, it always makes for a much better watch party. Everyone's in a lot better mood than, a 4-1 loss. There was one game before that we didn't talk about because we did Tuesday last week, right?
Yeah, yes.
I think so. So we did lose to the Jets in overtime, unfortunately. Just as we thought we got the overtime monkey off our back, the next game we go to overtime against the Jets, and of course we lose that game. I thought the story of this game was just like the Lightning could not clear the puck out of the zone when they needed to. And they also were giving up some the goals they were giving up were rebound goals, deflection goals, and those goals seem to always haunt JoJo, who is in net tonight. I saw somebody asked and you answered. As he played last night, so they're going to give the guy a rest. He just got back. So JoJo back. I think he's going to be a great backup goalie for this team, but those deflections, those big rebounds that he kicks out, we're not good at getting on top of those rebounds and clearing them out. So it kind of bit the Bolts in the butt. And then in overtime, I got to say, it was Hedman and Point that completely got caught out of position. I know it's 3-on-3, so it's not easy, but hey, man, those are the guys that we count on to be in position to not give up these overtime goals. So as great as those guys have been this season, the last couple of years, can't lose games like that, especially these overtime games. At least we got a point. At least the Jets are a Western Conference team.
And we finished that whole homestand with a point in all 3 games. So
true. Yeah. Stamkos that game had a ton of chances. He did score one. He had his, scored from his office, I believe, on a power play, but he had a lot of chances to score goals that game and could only bury that one. All right, so Jets, Carolina, we talked about, and then last night the Bolts came back this weekend, picked up their dads, and then flew out to Denver. Do you know when they flew into Denver, did they give themselves 24 hours to adjust to that altitude?
No.
That's what it seemed like. It did seem like they were struggling about halfway through that game. So in the game against Colorado, which, by the way, Colorado is on a little bit of a hot streak right now, Hedman falls, gives up that first goal. The Avs get a 2-on-1 versus Vasi, and they make us pay. And really that happened because Hedman fell down. Then they give up another 2-on-1 on the next goal, and Vasi makes an amazing save. And then once again, Braden Point is not there to cover the third man that's coming in to get that rebound. So I'm not trying to call out Braden Point for not being a good hockey player, but he's made some bad defensive plays in the last week. Now, he's also made some really good. He did score 3 goals against Carolina, so you can't really complain too much about Point. But he was the guy that kind of missed that trailer coming in to score. And if you watch the replay, you'll actually see him kind of skate out towards the boards and up north towards our goal, or I guess towards the other team's goal. So Braden Point keeps scoring goals, but you got to be back defensively as a centerman and stop some goals as well.
Real quick, Shooter, the Blackhawks have already filled Perry's position as they just traded a 5th-round pick to the Canucks for Anthony Beauvillier to fill Perry's spot. So that literally they just traded 1 minute ago.
Do you think that was a desperation move? Like, we have to do something, or did maybe this put them under the cap? Isn't there a cap minimum?
Probably once they bought him out. They would have got a penalty on that, but the guy that they got, 22 games this season, 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. So he's having a Perry-like season. Career 512 games, 113 goals.
He was with the Islanders for a while, right?
Yeah.
I remember him. He scored on us last time.
Yep. So they just traded that for a 5th-round pick.
Desperation move. I mean, the moral of the story is Chicago Blackhawks organization's just in shambles right now. And I did see a rumor, again, I don't trust any of these websites.
Bedard wants out. Is that
I did see a rumor that Connor Bedard is not happy in Chicago.
Yeah.
And he wants out, which just adds more fuel to the fire of him stuff happening with his family. But anyway, I don't know if that's true. I think he's stuck there no matter what, unless he just kind of decides to sit out and pull a Bruin. Eric said there looked interference by Colorado bench. Why hadn't fell? I didn't see that. I thought he just fell, but maybe I'll take a second look at that.
Listen, if EE says it was interference, it was interference.
I guess you can't complain, but hey, they didn't call it, and then the Bolts in that second period just took a bunch of penalties, and eventually a team like Colorado is going to score on you. So AC Mont scored. Perbix, I hope Perbix's dad yelled at him after this game, because he should have been on sides. Like, you just drag your foot, bro. Just drag the foot. And if you watch that replay, he did not. So AC Mont's goal did not count. Cirelli comes back and scores one. Again, another long pass by Hedman. And I'm wondering how many people are picking this up on other teams. These Hedman stretch passes are killing teams. We're seeing goals like with Hedman in that long stretch pass, which he does perfectly most of the time. We're seeing that every other game. We're scoring goals like that. So you had the overtime goal last week to Hagel was one of those. Last night's goal to Cirelli was one of those. Teams are going to catch on to that. It's not something they're going to be able to do all season. But the funny thing about
Detroit was one of the teams that knew that going in, because when we played Detroit, they were stepping in the middle of every one of those passes and catching on to, and getting them and turning them against us. So they're coached by our old coach. So, there's a lot of familiarity there. So these teams, someone like the Florida Panthers also is one of those that tend to get in the way of those passes because they played against us so much.
True.
ABB's back in the lineup tonight, and I see Stephanie just posted that too.
There you go. So it'll be good to have him back in the lineup. What do you think happened with him getting scratched so much lately? I thought he started the season really good. Do you think?
I thought they just wanted Watson in there for the big body.
I guess. I mean, I don't understand the approach of playing with your bigger lineup. I guess they don't need to score goals as much, right? I don't know. I just thought ABB had a good start to the season. I thought he was fitting in on that first line, and then all of a sudden he's gone, which to me usually means like, hey, they were watching film and he's not playing a decent.
And Fleury's in. So your lines are Hagel, Point, Cooch, Stammer, Cirelli, Isimont, Koki, Paul, ABB, Mott, Glendening, Janot. And then your D pairings are Hedman and Pervik, Sergachev, Chernak, Fleury, and Radish.
I like how Kopke's been playing since he's been up.
Yeah.
He seems like he's adjusting to the NHL game, which Morella just never seemed to start to put
him and ABB are very familiar with each other.
So are they on the same line?
Yes. With Paul in the middle. So
that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Phoenix, by the way, or Arizona, as they go by now, the Coyotes are really getting home, and they're a middle of the pack team. So this is not your Arizona Coyotes from the last 3 or 4 years. This is a better team. They've got that stud rookie. What's his name? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Do you know his name either?
No.
We really suck at this.
I just bet on him earlier. So I was trying to remember it.
You bet on him?
Yeah, well, I bet against him. I had to bet against him.
Ooh, and we'll probably go up against Connor Ingram tonight.
Yeah, Ingram is in goal.
Who shut us out last time we were in Phoenix. Cooley, yeah, I just found the same time as you. So yeah, keep your eye on number 92, Cooley. He only has 2 goals this season,
just like my last name.
11 assists and 13 points. So yeah, he's a rookie that's definitely fun to watch. Other than that, you're not going to really recognize too many people on their team. You got Keller, Schmaltz.
I'm gonna say Keller.
Yeah, Keller's their top scorer. He's basically their best player right now. But he's still a -8. Don't tell Jay Retcher that. They have Matt Dumba, too. They picked up Matt Dumba, which I think is a good pickup. He's a guy that the Lightning kicked the tires on for a long time.
Yeah, just could never afford him.
Yeah, so Arizona at the Mullet Center. The reason why I wanted to go, and maybe the reason why Scott's there tonight, is this is only a 5,000-person arena. It's a college Arizona State's arena, which I think would be awesome to watch an NHL game in. So
they say it's the most. Nigel, when I talked to him the one time, said it was the most intimate arena and he definitely said if you get a chance to go there and see it. Well, yeah, 2 more years.
I'm going next year. I am going to go next year for sure. Well, not for sure. It depends.
I was going to say, don't say that.
I like going to Phoenix. I got some friends that live out there, so they'll always go to a game with me.
But if we do lose, and you'll see Scott Nightingale there on the glass, blame him because he does not win on away games.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so they lost last night. He was at last night's game. So last year or 2 years ago, he did St. Louis. They lost. So when he goes alone, they lose.
Yeah, just put the link to our Facebook page in the chat again. So you really only have about 20 minutes after 9 o'clock Eastern time. We will shut it off for submitting your predictions for tonight's score. If you do get it right, you will go into a pool with the other folks that get it right, and we will do a drawing for that $25 Cigar City gift card. Keep in mind, it is not for the Cigar City that is right outside of Amalie Arena. It is for the Cigar City on Spruce Street where the actual brewery is. So I'm hoping we get a winner tonight. If not, we're going to do this thing again next week until we do get a winner. Maybe I'll sweeten the pot just to get some better. The problem is when the other team wins, nobody guesses the other team. That's why whoever this guy who guessed the Coyotes to win, he's got the best chances right now because nobody else picked the Coyotes to win so far. But you can for the next 20 minutes.
Sarah, I did try to see about group tickets there. They don't do group tickets.
There's not enough seats.
No.
We could fill up the whole thing.
Right, yeah.
It's only 5,000.
We took that many to Vegas.
Oh yeah, well, we had that bowl filled 3 times for the Nashville, the outdoor game.
Oh yeah. Well, even for the global series. The global series over in Sweden, it was 3-1 Bolts fans there.
Yeah,
and they filled up the Ericsson.
So stay tuned. Next season, Thunderbolts trip to Arizona. No group tickets though. You're all on your own. You got to fight.
You can use SeatGeek and get a discount.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Use
SeatGeek.
SeatGeek, use a discount. If you've already used SeatGeek, use a new email. Use WTP Pod and get 20% off.
$20 off.
$20 off. Sorry.
Which basically just eliminates all the extra fees that you have. But hey, it's better than nothing. So that goes for any event in the entire United States. So enough of you use that, or if enough of you buy Monkey Coffee and use my code Shooty10, then we'll pay for some of you guys to come out. But you're gonna have to buy a lot of coffee and you're gonna have to buy a lot of tickets.
And want to sit next to us.
I think we should do some sort of contest to sit next to Thomas Schooley at a game.
Yeah.
What's it like? I don't know why I'm asking you because I've done it, but what's it like to sit next to Thomas Schooley at a Lightning game? What's the highlight? Is it when you get your ice cream sundae?
I don't get that anymore. Now it's the grilled cheese. But then they up the price now on the grilled cheese mid-season.
They up the price?
Yes.
It's that good. That is one thing that I can probably get my daughter to go to the game for. She loves grilled cheese. So I'll try that. The best thing about going to a game with me is I barely talk at all during a game. So I would just sit there silently.
And there's all the dads at tonight's game. Someone, not Scott, sent me the picture of all the dads in the suite.
So this is it then. Oh, Pittsburgh Penguins are down but not out, by the way. Pittsburgh Penguins are in Nashville tonight, who we play next week. So they must be losing to the Predators.
Yeah. So the fathers are in the building there. I just sit in Schooley's seats in his absence. Yeah, Sarah got those seats last week.
Well, this is the This is the last trip on this mini road trip. So
Yes, they
gotta
actually
win.
flying back tomorrow. And then the dads will be at the game on Thursday, which
so
is
home, yeah.
Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Thursday night, I will definitely be in the building for that because I always go to that for my mom. So Thursday night, Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Come support. Boston has lost 3 straight since we beat them.
We broke the Bruins.
Yeah, they pulled Swayman last night, and he was not happy at all.
I don't think he's faced that many shots against the team like we did to them. So, yeah, that's good to see the Bruins coming back down to earth. I didn't even think the Bruins were going to make the playoffs this year. And they've got their own player issues with Lucic, who seems to probably be the next to get his contract terminated.
Yeah, he's about out of there. So all the old names are going to be gone here shortly.
So yeah, we got the Penguins Thursday night back at Amalie. I'll also probably be there, and then back on the road for one night, or I guess one day in Dallas. Oh no, are we doing like Kids Day in Dallas again?
Hey, if so, we won it last year. That's the game that I went to. Me, Serena, and Adrian and Scott all went to last year. We beat them.
Yeah. So that's a 2:00 game. So it probably is their kids' game. And then the Stars come here next Monday night. So that should be fun to watch because back-to-back games against the Stars usually means they're not going to be too happy with each other. And then Penguins on Wednesday, December 6th. Wednesday is our normal day to broadcast, so we'll have to probably figure something out. Sounds like it's a Tuesday nighter.
Which that's who we're playing Thursday. So literally we're playing Pittsburgh twice and Dallas twice within like a 10-day span.
Yeah. And then the next day, that Thursday, they are heading to Nashville to play the Predators, and that's the away game that I'll be at. So hey, if anyone listening is going to be in Nashville and going to go to the game on December 7th, hit me up. I'm trying to get a couple of us Bolts fans to meet up before the game. So we've got an event on our page on Facebook if you want to let us know if you're going to be in Nashville next Thursday. All right. Anything else? We got 15 minutes to spare here.
I knew there was something else, but I was trying to think of what else it was.
We did talk. I see Orozco asking about Corey Perry. We talked about him for the first 10 minutes, bro. We had to get to that breaking news immediately. So you can go back and rewind and listen to us speculate what that bad boy did.
Petty celebrates his 1,000th game on
Monday.
Is it Monday?
If he plays in the next couple of games, it will be Monday night. 1,000th game for Victor Hedman. Knock on wood.
Yeah, Monday, December 4th. Date is subject to change, the email they sent out.
Yeah.
It's,
he get dinged up or something, but Hedman's smart. He's usually keeps himself healthy by not laying those massive hits on people that we all want to see.
From the Coyotes, took a puck to the head in warm-ups. Hush up. Did you see about Fleury wearing his Heritage helmet the other day?
He got in trouble because they said, no, you can't do that. And then he wore it anyway. Everyone's got a problem with something. This is why I don't talk to people, because everyone's got a problem with something.
Well, and this is why they've now came out and said that the players can tape their sticks up now for the special nights. It was so dumb that the NHL came out and said you can't do it. They should have just left it as, if you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Because last year you had all the people that didn't want to wear the special pride jerseys and stuff like that. So this year they said, okay, no special jerseys at all, which sucks coming for the Hockey Fights Cancer Night on Thursday. I loved always seeing those jerseys. But then they went further and said no special headgear, no special tape, And now we've seen players come out on the tape and they said, I don't care, I'm still going to do it. And then you had Fleury come out with the helmet the other day for his Indian heritage?
I don't know what it was for, so
I think it was Indian heritage, something heritage. He came out with his helmet that way, but the league has not fined him for it yet. So
they just gave him a good talking to.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to find that Native American. Yeah, okay. His wife is Native American, so he came out with that, and the league has not officially came out with anything on it.
Nothing. Cool. Well, we got Connor Ingram, former Bolt in net, 7 wins, 3 losses, 2.65 goals against average, 920 save percentage. He's having a pretty good season.
He has. I mean, I liked him when he was here. I think he was just a casualty of the cap, and then he got himself into some issues, and he got himself right, and he's been looking good ever since he's got himself right.
And then we got JoJo in net that we mentioned earlier, and I do think we need to give JoJo some sort of salute for filling in these first 2 months of the season and doing an adequate job for the team and Andre Vasilevsky, keeping us in contention. We're in a playoff spot still. So shout out to JJ, JoJo, whatever you want to call him. And he gets himself back in the net tonight. Do you think that they'll split a little bit more time and sit Vasi a little bit more just based on? You don't think so?
No.
He said last season he was like not in the best shape. He was having issues.
Yeah, and he took all his time off. No, they're going to ride him until the brakes fall off now.
Well, he's not playing back to back, which he has done before.
He has. I think it's too early for that. And how about Thursday?
Thursday. Am I frozen or is Schoolie frozen?
I think I was.
That's the weird thing. When there's only 2 of us, I can't tell.
Vasi makes his return on
Thursday. What?
Vasi makes his return at Amalie for the first time this season. That place is going to go nuts.
Do you think he'll get a standing ovation?
Oh, it will probably be one of the loudest things you will ever hear on Thursday night.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to make my way downtown to check out that game. The Coyotes, I'm trying to scramble for some stats here over the last 10 minutes. The Coyotes have 63 goals for and 63 goals allowed. Very evenly balanced, good and bad. And let's see what their power play percentage. The Lightning are now in second place behind the Devils in their power play percentage. And the Coyotes are 7th, actually, 25.4%. It's a solid 7% behind us, but not bad for the Arizona team. And then their penalty kill is middle of the road at 13, 80.8%. If you were wondering where the Lightning's PK stands, we're at 84%. That's good for 10th in the league. And hey, while we're talking about stats, how dare us, Thomas Schooley, how dare us not bring up every single episode when this happens, your NHL points leader, Nikita Kucherov, 36 points. Back on top. He was on top of that first week of the season, but got overtaken by some of these Hughes boys. And by the way, JT Miller also right there, 33 points. People still think JT Miller is overrated, which I don't understand.
He's just on that shitty Vancouver team.
Somebody's got to score.
JT,
36 points. Six points Friday night helped a lot with that.
Okay.
But also leads the league in goals. I guess he's tied now, 15 goals, tied with Reinhardt and Brock Bozer. And not far behind on assists, but Cale Makar did a little bit of damage last night with that. Cale's got 26 assists, and Cooch is 21, so he's in third. But anyway, I'm going to make sure I bring that up every single episode just to piss everyone off a little bit. Now, obviously, not Lightning fans. You might get tired of it after a while. Yeah, no, you won't. But if any opposing fans listen to this podcast or watch live, I'm going to make sure that I bring up Nikita Kucherov being the best player in the NHL as often as I can. And you just got called out, Schoolie. Vancouver isn't shitty. He's right. We did go through the standings this season. They are sitting solid in second place right now.
Yeah, but that's not a good team. Not a good team. You have a few good players, but they're not a good team. They don't have, I don't think, have an identity really right now.
Lynn was in Raleigh Friday night and sat right behind Vasi. That was a heck of a game to go to, Lynn. Congratulations. Picking the right road game to go to. Hopefully Scott's got your luck tonight, but apparently he doesn't have a great track record. So we'll see what happens in the Valley of the Sun this evening. I'm excited. I didn't get to watch the full
It must be
game
cold
last
there,
night.
though, because when the players got off the bus, they were all wearing their jackets and beanies.
Oh, yeah, it probably does get cold here. I'm surprised how cold it was here this morning.
Oh, I loved it.
I was freezing my pucks off, Thomas. I
Your
could break
puck.
out the hoodies. You're lucky I don't have my beanie on tonight. You know, I only get to wear it like 4 days a year.
It's 69 there at Mullet Arena right now.
It is much colder here. It's at least 15 degrees colder here. It's 48, my computer says.
My current location is 52.
I'm going to go make myself a cup of hot cocoa, maybe a little Bailey's in it, sit by my fireplace, probably just in my my Tampa Bay Lightning thong.
It's like, stop right there.
Hopefully my kids went to sleep. I'm gonna crank up the heater, and then I'm gonna watch the Bolts.
And me,
Really
because
put a shellac in.
I have my sliding glass door open and my fan on, and I'm gonna sleep just all comfortable.
Yeah, Thomas Schooley doesn't watch late games, folks. He's an early riser now, so we gotta let him know what happens. I think everyone who's watching or listening to this should tweet at Thomas Schooley, and just give him random Lightning updates.
It's funny, as I'm laying down, I listen to the radio broadcast, and Michigan will get so excited, and then I can't go to sleep, or I'll wake up in the middle of the second. The other day, I woke up to screaming goal when we scored the 7th and 8th one. And I was like, what the hell's going on? What time it is? Tomorrow is my big inspection for the year. So I have to be up very early. It's going to be a long ass day tomorrow.
All right. Well, we'll get you out of here in the next 5 minutes, buddy. Go take that melatonin now.
Yeah.
I did have a game last night, so I only saw half of the Lightning game, but I wanted to report back. I tried to wear, and I did wear the whole game, a neck guard.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
It was fine. The neck guards, they're much softer and lighter than I thought they would be. And it was cold last night. And I know we're playing on ice, so it's cold all the time. But it was extra cold last night because it was cold outside. So at first I was like, hey, it's kind of nice. It's like a neck warmer. It's keeping me warm. And then eventually I was like, all right, this is kind of getting annoying. But it really wasn't that bad. I feel like what's going to happen is they're going to make kids start wearing them. And I think if you're used to wearing it, you're just used to it. Like if you're used to wearing shoes, you're used to wearing shoes and socks, right? So I feel like it's going to have that effect. And I has just had the one piece that goes around the neck like a necklace. The kids these days, they have the whole shirt and it's built into the top of it. So I feel like these players that as they are required to wear them as they're younger, maybe they're going to be required when they're older to wear them in the NHL, and they won't have a problem. I will say though, I broke
January will be mandatory in Florida.
Ooh, for who? For kids, right?
I think it's for the kids' leagues.
I think it's usually a USA hockey rule that they'll do. So I don't know if it'll just be Florida. It would usually be everywhere, but I don't know the specifics on it. I didn't love it, and maybe because I broke my consecutive streak of goals scored in a game, which went back several weeks, which I couldn't even remember when the last time I didn't score a goal was.
Or you just sucked, so maybe it wasn't the net guard.
No, I didn't suck. I didn't suck. But I almost ripped the thing off for the last 5 minutes of the game just because I felt a little superstitious. But I didn't. I kept it on, and I felt safe. And I guess it's like cloth. It's like a cloth Kevlar-like material. So I really don't see how it doesn't seem like it's protecting you from anything. Like if I took a shot right to the neck with that thing on, it would still hurt like a bee. And but I guess it doesn't. You can't cut through it with a skate. So there you go. There's my review of wearing a neck guard while playing ice hockey. I wouldn't expect anyone else on the Lightning or in the NHL to wear one except our guy Cole. He's probably going to have his on tonight.
You know, I did find a little something out on the Tiki-Taki today that
new dance
that the WAGs had a WAG fund that they pay into at the beginning of each year, and the head WAG is the captain's wife, so it'd be Steven Stamkos. Collects all the money. It's $500 entry for a WAG wife, and that gets you into the group text message of the wives. That pays for your usher's gifts at Christmas time and any other special times.
Can I get into this?
Huh? No.
Can I get into this?
And the girlfriends of the players don't get invited until they're a little bit serious, and then it's the players that has to come to the head WAG and get her invited into it. So they pay $500 for each one, and then it also pays for any baby showers that any of the players might have, and their jackets at the playoff jackets that they all have. It pays for all of that.
Is it the same site that you get your Connor Bedard rumors from?
No, this was actually from someone who actually was a WAG for one of the Tampa Bay Lightning players. And is currently still married to a former Tampa Bay Lightning player who's now a broadcaster.
Oh,
in Seattle.
Gosh.
JT Brown's wife.
I've heard that.
She put on there about the whole thing of how you get in. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense now.
All right. Well, you work your way into the WAG.
Yeah. Trying to figure out who will get me invited into these text groups. I wonder if I can get into the dads maybe group chat.
Let's do that. Let's both try to sneak into the dad box on Thursday. I'm down. I want to go make friends with who's supposed to be like the funny, like isn't Vassie's dad supposed to be like really hilarious or something like that? Or is
I don't know. Does he speak good English?
I don't know, but I heard one of like the foreign guys' dads is hilarious from something. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to watch Recharge. They're on episode 2. I want to watch that, and we're gonna review it. So sometime over the next month, we'll figure out when to do that. All right, so have fun watching the game, everyone. Check back on our site. I'll probably have a winner tonight, if the Lightning win, that is. And if somebody guesses the correct score, which hopefully we will have a winner. If not, I might just have to give this thing out live on next week's show, which is probably going to be on Tuesday night because we do have a game on Wednesday. So thank you for bearing with us as the schedule changes. You know, we don't want to do a show before or after a game that we're going to. It's a lot easier if we're sitting here at home. Although I do miss Thomas Schooley from the Bush after the game.
Playoffs.
Yeah, we got to go live after playoff games. All right, so you got anything else for the fine people, the fine Lightning fans of America?
No, go Bolts. Let's bring home a win tonight. So we get the 2 points. Coot will be happy with this road trip. Well, technically, I guess this was a 3-game road trip, right? Because you had the Canes. No, you had the Canes first. And then
that's right.
But see, it's weird because the Lightning actually left Carolina and flew back home to pick up the dads, and then flew back out, stayed in practice the next day, flew back out to Denver.
They should have flown out
to have them out there at Carolina. Yeah, they should have had them for the whole trip. I'm not sure why that was done that way, but they did fly back after Carolina and pick up the dads.
Did you see the clips of them on the field at the Broncos game?
Yes.
Sunday.
Yeah.
That's cool. So that's probably what they did with the dads. They probably went to the Broncos game, had a nice dinner, didn't practice that much. They don't need to practice. They're the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they're going to get a big win tonight for the Papas, and I'm here to watch it. Check out our Twitter and Facebook later tonight. We're going to have a winner. If not, we'll give out this gift card next week. Until then, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
That's it?